or is that total coverage? I'm trying to get you to be specific.
Yeah, we have those
The exact number
numbers.
of participants.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that number.
Greater than 214 or less than?
Oh, God, yeah, much greater than 214.
Yeah.
Oh, God, greater, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, God, greater, yeah. Paid for by the
no, we
taxpayer.
know, I mean, we're presenting this information, Dave, and we're saying we have an unusually high number of participants, so.
I'm just trying to get a handle on what that number is.
A secret.
The 270 and 280 total employees, is that the part-time as well? Is that what you're counting?
Yes.
Yeah, so not all of those people are eligible to opt in. Because
So the
they're-
majority probably are opting in at 214, you have 15
A high majority.
part-timers, you got.
That's right. I mean,
It's
BSI
like
can
154 teachers from what I
There's
remember.
158 teachers
Yeah.
and then support staff. You're probably 250 full-time employees in the district.
And 214 are not getting.
And what is we don't know the total number of covered individuals.
No, but it can be found out and sent to you.
Awesome, thank
We
you.
do, yes, but we don't have it here. So, moving on to the next slide. The other special challenge is unplanned expenses. You know, we had, get the occupancy permit figured out this year. That had legal costs. We had the little boiler valve situation that popped up on us. The NEF contract was supposed to be negotiated after the Auditor General's report, but it's being investigated now. We don't know what that's going to cost us. There's really nothing that we can do about that now, just try to, make smarter decisions going forward. But it's something that we need to keep in the back of our minds, that we don't know what these things are really going to end up costing us. Jack calls them skeletons in the closet that pop out and surprise us. And we have to make them right. Next slide. Legal costs, that's like another kind of thing that's super hard to predict. So on the left we have settlement payments that we've had to make. That's when, usually it's, a family is suing the district. They're alleging that, that we're not educating their children properly, and then these things are always settled by King Spry through our insurance carrier, and then usually what ends up happening is an account is made, those monies are put into the account, and then they're used to assist those children in catching up with their educational losses.
I have a question on this slide.
Yeah.
And I realize you didn't have the numbers for those through 1920 for the settlements.
Yeah.
Do the settlements include the attorney fees that we pay for the people suing us, or are they included in legal fees?
Good question. They're on the left side.
All right.
Ed and I talked about that. The reason we don't have all the numbers is that it was going to take Ed a lot of time to dig into the past and dig up those older numbers. And I asked him not to do that because Ed's been working a lot of extra hours and doing a lot of things, and I thought we had sufficient data here for talking purposes. But if we look at
Well, I only question it because I thought the actual educational benefits that will be provided was going to be $24,000 so far this year. And I know we have made payments to other attorneys. I could be wrong on that, but that's what I remember.
And I thought the legal fees for the other side were included in the settlement. Is that true? I thought so.
No, legal fees for the settlement are not showing up in the legal fees over here. The legal fees.
They're on the
Because
left
these were,
side.
yeah, they're on the left side. Because
Okay, it is.
It would still be categorized under legal fees, but when I pulled the information, I pulled information based on Fox Rothschild, King Spry, and at the time, Philo Schwab.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure where
Those attorneys
they
get paid.
fell.
They get paid as a legal fee, but it's paid to an attorney that we don't normally do business with. So for purposes of tracking the information, it showed up under settlement.
Right, okay. I just thought the actual settlements for the educational benefits we have to provide came to $24,000.
Yeah, so you're thinking 24,000 is low. It's not a correct number.
I'm just not sure, well, it does say 24,000 plus, so.
Yeah, well.
I just didn't know where those legal fees that we pay to the parents' attorneys,
Yeah,
where they fall.
they're supposed to be on the left side.
Okay.
So, I mean, if we go look at the year 2021, you know, we had a high number of settlements, and we paid about $200,000 altogether for legal fees. And then so far, this year, we're about 120,000. And the settlements are low, the legal legal fees are a little bit high for this time of year, but, you know, we've had some special things going on. And then these are the numbers that Ed has put in the budget for next year. It's, you know, it's hard to forecast, right? It's, you know, crystal ball type stuff, what's going to happen.
Well, less skeletons would mean less legal fees.
Yep.
So let's hope.
Let's hope things are getting, more efficient.
Why is it so high?
Wait till the end, Dave.
Wait, well, it's particular to legal fees.
Why is one so high?
Well, it's 23 years, why are we budgeting so much?
That's Ed's guess. That's Ed's guess. We don't have to. We
No, I'm
could.
just asking more, you know, the things that are happening behind the scenes that we're not seeing, or is that kind of
We're paying $85 extra an hour for our attorneys, so we're getting excellent advice.
It's a combination of what I'm seeing coming on bills now versus the increased rate from our previous attorney to Fox Rothschild. Combination of those two things.
I know you just put numbers in there.
Yeah, no,
That's his best guess.
Dave?
So very specific to free and public education lawsuits, I learned as a director that the district took an attitude towards individuals that wanted to complain about whether or not they were getting the full free and public education required by law, that they met with great obstruction as a standard response. So if they said, I don't think my kid's getting the need, they were told no, 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 and then it usually ended in a lawsuit that required us to pay both sides. The machine got churned, the kid didn't get the benefits for the year that this churning took place. Both attorneys got paid at the end, the kid got everything he was supposed to get in the first place, and there's a program for free out at the state level that's called the Office of Dispute Resolution that allows a lot of this to not take place. So if you could change the moral background of the board that in the event that someone complains about their free and public education, that the board reviews it prior to taking the stance that you are going to hire attorneys to defend it, you might just look at it and then talk to the ODR and for free make a more wise decision to provide benefits to the student without starting a churning war between combating attorneys. That there's hundreds of attorneys at Kingsbury that just love these battles.
Oh.
And it seems like our district had 0 ODR resolutions and a whole bunch of legal litigation. And at the end, when, like you said, you get these settlements and you read them and you're like, the settlement to the kid is a couple $1,000s, but the legal fees on 2 sides are 3 times that amount. They're churning the system, getting paid at the expense of our students.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully with the Title IX and Jake taking control of that until we get a replacement, hopefully that all slows down that. Hopefully when Jake faces that situation, it comes back to the board that we know about it.
Agreed, and
It's
you need to
mostly
get that
special
information at the
education issues.
beginning. Right, get it at the beginning when the parent first complains, prior to having them seek out legal
One thing,
counsel.
I did some research on OER, and generally, from what I read, the school district still has their attorney there.
Correct.
So you would still be paying that attorney.
But they stopped the argument and the fight from taking on a year in legal fees as they argue over it, just to come back to the same resolution that they would have had a year ago.
I understand that part, and I do believe we had one this past year, and I could be wrong, they did go through the OER.
ODR, perfect.
ODR, whatever.
Yep, and that's great, that's the way it's supposed to happen. When I called the ODR after being on the board, we found out that 0 were referred to them over those years of taking place. They were hiding them from, they were trying to handle it in-house,
Gotcha.
and therefore paying for the skeletons.
Thanks, Dave.
You're welcome.
Into that. Next slide. So I'm an engineer, and I think about things a little bit differently than other people do. So I had talked to Ed, and I asked Ed to put together a budget, which is on the left side. And I said to Ed, what if we didn't do anything? What if the board didn't change a thing? What if there was this is academic only, this is not realistic, what if there was no new contract? We didn't add anybody, we didn't change anything, we just kept things the same. And between that budget and the budget that was proposed a month ago, the difference there is about $1.75 million. And all of that is really pretty much concentrated in the salaries and the benefits. And this is really where the board needs to think, right? Where we need to decide where we want to go with this. The proposed budget has like a $500,000 deficit. I put that the status quo has a surplus, but that's really fake. I mean, it's not realistic.
Well, it's academic along with the status quo.
Correct, exactly. So let's go to the next slide. And, status quo is there's no new positions, there's no contract, everybody just rolls along, and the proposed budget has 10 new positions, which we're going to be talking about. It assumes a new contract that does have salary increases, which creates a correction for the salary scheduled problems that we talked about earlier. It assumes that the healthcare stays the same and it experiences this escalation that BSI is warning us about. And it assumes that we are not going to get an increase from the state.